Hi, and welcome back to Alex Talking. This is one of my favorite times of the year, and it's whenever you get to do your favorite movies of the year. It's a long year. I have the list pulled up in front of me here, and I saw a total of, let's see here, 189 new releases this year. That's a lot, my personal record. And I thought, rather than doing a video where I talk about all 189 movies, which would be a very long time, and busy. I'm actually a little sick right now, getting over that, as well as it's the Christmas season. I don't want to have to focus on doing all that and trying to talk about like movies called like Dolly and The Ice Tower that I saw at Fantastic Fest, alongside like A Big Bold Beautiful Journey and Nouvelle Vague, the new Richard Linklater movie. All movies that are on my honorable mentions for some of my favorite movies of the year. And that's why I decided to do just a top 25, keep it nice and clean, um, and start off with a few honorable mentions. Twinless, Caught Stealing, Wake Up Dead Man, Train Dreams, all just barely missing out. All movies I very much so enjoyed, as well as like Rental Family and The Wolf Man. Don't want to give away too many because we still have 25 great movies to come, but I thought that after a slow beginning, once festival season hit, I had a really good year for movies. And this is a super strong top 25. And I would say I like at least 50 or 60 movies that came out this year of the 188 I saw, which I know is only like 30%, but there's a lot of junk. Let's get right into it. Top 25. Number 25. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Comes out in February this upcoming year. I saw it at Fantastic Fest. It was our final secret screening. Gore Verbinski directed it. He is out of director's jail. The filmmaker that brought you Pirates of the Caribbean and all that. This was a riotous theater. We got Joe Dante, Mick Garris, Ernest Dickerson, all the legends, Don Coscarelli, even James Franco showed up for this movie for the final secret screening. We all knew it was going to be a good one, and it did not disappoint. This is a super unique movie with commentary on school shootings as well as AI that manages to also be one of the funniest movies of the year and an action movie. It walks a delicate tightrope that only Gore Verbinski can, and absolutely is worth seeing once it comes out. I really, really don't want this movie to fail. Um, just because I have no idea how you would market something like this, but it's so unique and original and worth watching that I'm fully supporting it and wanted to make sure it was in this top 25. Number 24, F1, the Brad Pitt movie from Joseph Kosinski. I am a huge Joe Kosinski fan. I thought that Top Gun Maverick was maybe the best movie of 2022, which is right there with like 2019 and 2017 as the best movie years in my life. Because in 2022 you had Top Gun Maverick, The Northman, Nope, Bones and All, and Banshees of Inisherin, and Ambulance, all fighting for my favorite movie of the year. Um, Meanwhile, this year there's only about two movies that are really going right at each other for which one is my favorite overall movie. Any day of the week, I could say any of the movies I just listed. Anyways, this is Joseph Kosinski's first movie since Top Gun Maverick, and it pretty much applies the Top Gun Maverick formula to race car driving and Formula One driving in particular. I am not familiar with it, and I thought that it was riveting. I thought that the camera work was stunning and just phenomenally done. I thought it had a very unique and interesting global appeal with the supporting cast, and I really think that it just worked to make overall a super fun summer blockbuster. I saw it twice in theaters, and I started watching it again with my father on Apple TV the other day, and yeah, it's a great movie. Great summer fun action movie. Number 23, the opposite of a summer fun action movie, a put on that cozy autumnal sweater and watch a weird, trippy, like James Bond Operazione Dynamite, like James Bond inspired 70s throwback. Reflections on a Dead Diamond is what this is called. And I honestly, I know this isn't too formal, me leaning forward to click on it here and tell you that it is directed by Bruno Forzani and Helene Catet. And I just want to shout them out. They were two of the nicest and coolest filmmakers I've ever met. They were around Fantastic Fest the entire weekend, super fun and easy to talk to, and very interesting people. And they made an incredibly interesting movie here about a man who's like a 70-year-old ex-spy, and he's like living in this crazy hotel on like I think it's Italy, like the Italian coast, and it's like a beautiful locale, and he's tormented by visions of his like past life and like samurai sword latex bound like ninjas and crazy shit like that. Super cool movie, my type of thing through and through, so I totally enjoyed it. Number 22, Die My Love. The last movie I watched in my life was American Hustle, so shout out Jennifer Lawrence. Just great actress, and this was one of the best female performances of the year, one of the best overall performances. I don't need to qualify like that. I was just speaking, if I was like nominating for Oscars, she would absolutely get a nomination for best lead actress for me. I thought that this movie was much more of a relationship drama than it is a commentary on parenting, so much so as is what it's billed as. It totally is. But I thought that the scenes between her and Pattinson were by far the most interesting and riveting parts of this movie. But it is a total balls out crazy movie. Lynn Ramsey is an awesome director, and I thought that this was just as good as We Need to Talk About Kevin, and almost as good as You Were Never Really Here. That's still my favorite of hers, just because that's a profound film. But I was not disappointed by this at all, and I really, really wanted to see it a second time. But I was just getting married in November, so I was super busy and I couldn't. But I really did enjoy this movie and can't wait to see it again. 21, the Joel Edgerton movie that just made this list instead of Train Dreams. Um, and this movie is coming out in January, and please keep it on your radar. It's a very, very well done movie, and this director, Charlie Pollinger, is going to be going places. I can tell you with the utmost certainty, because this movie is fantastically done, and that is The Plague. It is a like coming of age, psychological body horror movie about a water polo team, and that is about all I really want to give away about this movie, because the lead actor is just phenomenal in this. His name is Everett Blunk, and it's one of the best kid performances I've ever seen, just to be 100% honest with you. He's terrific in the lead here, but even the like little shithead side kids are so well cast and so well performed that it shows just how much this vision came to life in the most flawless and just full way possible. Like the image came to me very clearly early on into this movie that it was firing on all cylinders, and I believe it did until the very end, and it ends with an awesome dance party. Number 20, The Forbidden City. This is a super interesting movie because it's like a Chinese Italian mashup about like a a woman's sister becoming a prostitute, falling in love with this man's elderly father, who then leaves his mother, and they get tied up with like the mob and get killed. And then the woman's sister, comes as like a, you know, martial artist with a vengeance, and teams up and falls in love with the guy. This movie just falls into every genre. It has a bunch of, different countries involved with the making of it and the story being told. And just for that uniqueness alone, it made it this high on my list of all the movies I've seen this year. And it's probably the one that the least amount of people have heard of. But I really encourage you to check out The Forbidden City. Well, I guess Reflections on a Dead Diamond is probably pretty obscure too. So please check out both these movies, because they were both phenomenal and just really unique and interesting, and why I enjoy going to film festivals, so that you can diversify your taste in film, not just because, oh, well, I'm never going to watch a movie like that on my own. I do. I love watching movies like that on Criterion. It's whenever you just don't even know something exists in the first place, but you're able to enjoy it completely blind and completely for what it is, and that just brings me so much joy. Just one of the funnest things I can do on earth is walking into a theater to see a movie that I thought maybe had a cool poster at a film festival, and then it is just, wow, my socks are knocked off. I can't wait to see it again and tell everybody to go see it. Coming in at 19, I realize this might be a hot take. Materialists. I thought Past Lives was solid, a solid debut from Celine Song, but it did not grab me in the way that nearly in the way that it grabbed most people. Because I would very much so say it was solid, it was fine. Materialists, I thought was very well done, and a couple years ago, A24 released a statement that they were like, we're going to move into mainstream filmmaking in a way and make movies that appeal to more mainstream audiences and try to like succeed at the box office. And I remember when they made that statement, people were really concerned and scared that they wouldn't stay true to A24. It's not like they don't make bad movies. I mean, they make plenty of bad movies. Because it's a production company. It's not an artist, you know? Like, so you can't even blame them for that. Like, The Legend of Ochi being a complete piece of shit isn't A24's fault, and I completely commend and respect them for, like, producing something like that. So that's all to say that whenever they release that statement, I kind of imagined that it means that they would make action movies like Civil War or dramas like The Smashing Machine, and notably rom-coms like Materialists. And I think that that worked very, very well as a modern day commentary on dating culture and relationships, and that it was very much so what I would expect from an A24 rom-com. I thought Dakota Johnson was great in the lead. I thought that the writing was just as poignant as, because like the opening and the closing of Past Lives is amazing. It's just everything in between that I'm like, okay. Um, but the opening of Past Lives especially is great. I kind of felt that type of energy throughout this whole thing. Like the way that stuff ties to, because I've seen this movie 3 times now, and the way stuff ties together with like, you know, the girl who, not to spoil anything, this is on HBO Max, highly recommend it if you haven't seen it, but the girl who she sends out on the date and it doesn't go well, and you really have to kind of be patient to figure it out as you're watching it the first time. But the second and third times I've watched it, I appreciate the build up to it so much more and find it to be a very rich, even like talking about the leg procedure on the fire escape at the beginning party. I just find that stuff to be why I appreciate Celine Song's writing style. And I found the script to be very rich. Pedro Pascal and Chris Evans are 2 actors that I'm not huge on by any means, and they were both very good here. And Dakota Johnson is great as always. Coming in at 18, Silent Night, Deadly Night. The newest version of this is the best version of this, in my opinion. I thought little Corey Cunningham in the lead here was fantastic, and obviously not a mistake to cast him like that in this role as a killer with a voice in his head and possessed by some evil after Halloween Ends, of course. And the girl from Happy Death Day being in here as his love interest and taking over as like co-lead with him towards the end was great. On a second watch as well, I once again appreciated the nuances of the storytelling in this, which is really funny to say about a Silent Night, Deadly Night slasher movie. But if you know it, if you've seen it, you know exactly what I mean. Um, because this is not your traditional slasher. This is a very unique, like Dexter meets Venom meets slasher elements, and that's what made it so cool and so fresh to me. So I really, really enjoyed the new Silent Night, Deadly Night. Coming in at 17, The Naked Gun. I'm so disappointed this isn't higher. Honestly, this was one of the funniest movies I've seen in years. I really enjoy all the movies above it. Obviously, 17 is no mark on this one because I saw it 3 times in the theaters. I laughed my ass off every time. Even took my dad to see it. Showed it to my wife's dad whenever it got on Paramount Plus, and we were visiting, and he loved it. So yeah, I cannot say a bad thing about this movie because it has an insane laugh ratio compared to its runtime. I mean, I'm laughing every like 30 seconds at least in this movie. Fergie, the Duchess, man, that villain, and forgive me, Danny Houston. Danny Houston. I was gonna say I can't remember his name. Danny Houston's his name. Danny Houston is like the villain in Wonder Woman, and he's in plenty of things. And he's usually a kind of generic villain. Not gonna lie. And he was so perfectly cast in this to like play a heightened version of that generic villain. It's just like stuff like that is why Akiva Schaffer to me really understood what was going to be funny in this and why every scene is funny. The snowman bit, amazing. Pam Anderson, a goddess. Liam Neeson, terrific. Number 16, No Other Choice. I got to see this movie with Park Chan Wook in attendance at the SCAD Savannah Film Festival, and I think that's the only reason this got above The Naked Gun for me, because I would obviously, when I rank these movies, I obviously rank them based off of how much I like them and how much I'm going to rewatch them. I would rewatch The Naked Gun before No Other Choice, but No Other Choice is a very funny, dark comedy from South Korea and has great commentary and really, really great performances. I mean, um, I want to say it's Lee Byung-hyun. I'm gonna check. Lee Byung-hun. Yeah, okay. Lee Byung-hun is fantastic in the lead here. He's an actor that you've seen before in other Park Chan-wook movies like JSA, as well as he's in I Saw the Devil, is what I know him for. A movie that I really like from South Korea, and he's fantastic in this. I mean, in a world with actual justice, he gives one of the best performances of the year, and he does get nominated for an Oscar for this role because he commands this movie and he plays that comedy really well. And there's something that I really appreciate as an American that really enjoys Park Chan Wook in particular films, as well as other movies from South Korea, that I think South Korean movies just have such a great sense of comedy that the acting is also so well done. You know, you think about Parasite, obviously, is a great example as well. Um, the acting in these movies is so well done that it's universal. It crosses the language barrier, and I'm laughing out loud watching it, even if I'm just reading words on screen. You know what I mean? That's where I appreciate these performances, and that's why I have to really shout out how great he is in this movie. Number 15, talk about great performances. Sandler and Clooney carry this whole thing, man. Jay Kelly. Now, Jay Kelly is like an Avengers Endgame of Noah Baumbach character actors. You've got, of course, the beloved Emily Mortimer, Greta Gerwig, Laura Dern, Billy Crudup, Patrick Wilson. Great, great, great supporting cast. But Clooney and Sandler anchor this thing. The ending is brilliant, breathtaking. I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. The stones on Baumbach to actually execute it the exact way that he did, and I commend him for it. Absolutely one of my favorite endings of the year and my 15th favorite movie of the year. Number 14, It Was Just an Accident. This is a really intense movie about people who are traumatized by being put into, well, I want to read the synopsis so I don't get anything wrong. They were imprisoned by Iranian authorities, and one of the people that tortured them had a prosthetic leg that creaked. And one day, this guy who was a tortured prisoner hears this creaking of this leg and decides that he is going to take matters into his own hands and take care of this person because it was the person that was his captor. And he gets the people that he was captive with, and this is another great example of a really, really high tension thriller with a really mean streak of dark comedy that had me laughing throughout, even though it was extremely, extremely heavy. I saw it at a film fest audience. I think that that always plays a factor into how much people are laughing. So I honestly definitely didn't laugh as loud or as much throughout as the rest of the theater because they were acting like if it was a laugh a minute comedy. To me, No Other Choice is a fine movie to kind of laugh through like that. This, not as much, but I still did appreciate the dark humor elements to it, as well as just the phenomenal acting and the actual dread and tension that the sound design builds in this movie is really phenomenally done. Number 13, I feel like everybody forgets to appreciate Wes Anderson, but I just can't, never will. So number 13 is The Phoenician Scheme. It is another Wes Anderson banger to me. I love Benicio del Toro. He had an amazing year with the Andersons. We'll get to the other one later. And this was just a really funny movie. And shout out Michael Cera for being here as well, because it's a long time coming that he was in a Wes movie, and he crushes it. Another one I saw twice in theaters and just really enjoyed myself thoroughly both times. Number 12, A Useful Ghost. Now, this is a movie about a woman who dies and then possesses a vacuum cleaner to stay with her husband, and the hijinks that ensue between his family, the vacuum cleaner ghost, and him, because he's like, that's my wife, that's wifey, I still want to be with her. And they're like, dude, you're tripping. And I'm like, hell yeah, this movie fucking rocks. Definitely check out A Useful Ghost. I have no idea when or how and to what degree that will come out in America, but please, it has remained in my top 12 movies of this year since September, and it's ending at number 12. And that's hella awesome to me, because this is a super bonkers, unique movie. And the fact that I was able to see it at Fantastic Fest just tickled me pink. It is so funny. That one was one that I was laughing out loud throughout the entire movie. And not just because I was at a festival. It is just a really well done ghost comedy with a lot of political commentary as well about from the country where it was made. The filmmaker explained afterwards, and I certainly never would have gotten it because I'm not from there. But um, hearing it, I was like, wow, that was a funny ghost movie that actually had a lot to say. Amazing, well done. And it's not like you can't tell what it's also trying to say, or even apply it to your life here in America if you're watching it. Like, that's not even what I mean. It's just, I guess I really appreciated the perspective after hearing more about it, is all I meant. Coming in at number 11, Final Destination Bloodlines. I am so thankful that in the year of our Lord 2025, the year that I got married, we at least got another Final Destination. For all the bad in this world, there is some good. And Final Destination Bloodlines thankfully proved they can make the same movie for the sixth time and it can still be good. Because this is my wife and I's favorite movie series to watch together. We love having friends over and just showing them random Final Destination movies. They just, they kill, no pun intended, with every audience. You get squirms, you get people screaming, you get people laughing. It's just, it's such a reactionary movie, and I think that this one crushed it. The new filmmakers killed to the very last detail, a Final Destination movie and how you're supposed to do it. And made it fresh and unique with the family aspects. My only complaint is the third act kind of sucks. It is kind of in the same vein as the second one, in which it is just so good the entire runtime, and then right at the very end, it's like, we're done. We killed the mom, like that, and this like drowning in the bus thing is gonna happen, and then we're gonna cut, and like, I just found it a little frustrating, the ending. And every time I've watched it, because this is one I've watched 4 times, unfortunately, every single time the ending post the MRI kill, it peters out to me just a little bit. Coming in at number 10, Dakota Johnson's back with Splitsville. I thought that this was really funny. I thought that the two actors, in which I'd never seen them before, and one of them directed this, were really good and held their own with Adria Arjona and Dakota Johnson. And that was cool to me. I want to see more of these guys. I want to see their other work. And it's just a really fun, messy divorce comedy that has a weird message at the end, a weird overall tone to what it's trying to say. But just because I don't fully understand what a movie's going for in its message doesn't mean that I'm going to dock it points. If I was entertained, found it to be engaging and mentally engaging, made me think, regardless of if I'm a little bit confused at what its ending is supposed to be leaning towards. But I also enjoyed the ending and thought, well, this guy only ever just wanted a kid. He didn't really care who with, and he ended up getting that. And they're parents, so they're stuck with their kid. And that's not a healthy way to live your life, because in the end of the day, that's just going to ruin the kid just like it's going to ruin you. And that's what I think the last shot of the kid means. I try not to spoil stuff, but the ending of Splitsville really, I remember seeing it with my wife, and we had so much to talk about afterwards, because it was like, what was that trying to say? And I just wanted to verbalize my thoughts out loud. So I apologize very much so if I just spoiled that to you. But also, if you haven't seen it, I don't think what I said was too bad. Coming in at number 9, Frankenstein. I think that Guillermo del Toro doing Frankenstein was something that could have been great, could be okay, could be good. I was like, whatever. I really prefer when he does original stuff. And Pinocchio was a little underwhelming to me because I'd already seen Pinocchio, blah, 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 blah. Then I see this Frankenstein. I'm like, holy fucking shit, that's probably my favorite Frankenstein ever. Like, holy smokes. Jacob Elordi is my favorite on-screen Frankenstein. Like, right there with Boris Karloff. Like, that's insane. I never would have expected that. Never. This made me fully respect Jacob Elordi. Oscar Isaac is hamming it the fuck up in this, and he's genius. Maya Goth needs to be in every single thing that Guillermo makes from now on. What can I say that's bad about this other than the shitty CGI? There's a lot of shitty CGI. Otherwise, the best Frankenstein adaptation, bar none. Number 8, 28 years later. I cannot wait for the 28 years later sequel that's coming out in like 3 weeks. The Bone Temple. Oh my goodness, inject it into my veins. I hope it's a mystery movie Monday one of these weeks and I get to go. I thought that this movie kicked ass on all sorts of levels. I saw it 3 times with 3 different groups of people because I just wanted to take as many people as we could. And the last time we went, we took 9 people, my wife and I, because she did not like this the first time, but the weeks that followed, she was like, that movie is really, really interesting. I just was not prepared for that to be what it was. I think I need to go see it again. And when I say I go see movies multiple times, I usually would go while my wife is at work or something, because I always take her to go see something the first time if she's interested, but she doesn't really like to rewatch things. So the fact that she wanted to go see this a second time and asked me to organize something to see it with her for a second time, my third, was awesome to me. And that alone made this a movie I really appreciated. But the fact that Danny Boyle came back to shoot the ever living shit out of a zombie movie, make it probably the coolest looking zombie movie ever, and just these zombies are so disgusting. The big ones crawling on the ground, Samson with his giant dong flopping, the malnourished Cillian Murphy one. They're just all really well designed, really cool, and I love the way the story is told through the eyes of a boy who never knew what a normal world was and is having to learn about real world pain in this heightened, insane reality. And I thought that really just meshed and played itself really well. Number 7, Weapons. I adored Weapons in the terms of we don't get original horror this good very often, and the fact that this was pure and simple, just completely original in every way, was ridiculously awesome to me, and something that I'll appreciate Zach Kreger doing with his first 2 movies for years to come. And I hope his Resident Evil is good, but I also hope afterwards he keeps on making original stuff. I know he already said the Resident Evil is going to be an original thing, but you know what I mean. Like, that's still IP. This is just so original, but it made such a splash and such an impact and was such a talking point amongst my coworkers, my friends, my family. And some people really hated it. Some people like me really loved it. And I honestly, as much as it disappoints me when people don't like a movie like this, because I really did enjoy it, I'm always down to have that conversation and just enjoy whenever a movie is making that conversation happen. Because sometimes it's worse to not have the conversation than to have the conversation about, hey, I like this movie, you didn't, rather than just, oh, I watched this movie, well, I didn't. I watched this movie, I didn't watch that one either. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot more frustrating than, oh, I liked it, I didn't. Well, why? I don't know. To me, that's more interesting than people just not seeing a movie. Number 6, Marty Supreme. Speaking of a movie you need to go see, this is in theaters now. Check it out. It is awesome. Timothy Chalamet is coming for that Oscar. I have very little doubt that he's not going to win it, because he gets his ass paddle whacked with a ping pong paddle in this and is so fucking on the entire movie. There's not a second of this that his brain isn't on fire, that Marty Mauser's eyes aren't completely alive with whatever crazy sheist he's coming up with in his head to do next. And that palpable energy radiated throughout this entire movie. This feels like a Safdie movie through and through. This feels like a sequel to Uncut Gems, or not a sequel, but you know what I mean. Like, it's in the same vein. Unlike the Smashing Machine, which never felt like, you know, a Safdie brothers thing at all. This, even though it is a lone Safdie, Josh Safdie showed, oh, he's the one that creates that aesthetic. He's the one that cultivates that vibe. And this movie had that vibe and that aesthetic. I have to shout out Abel Ferrara, the director of Miss 45 and Bad Lieutenant, who was in this movie, and he was amazing in it, unrecognizable in it, just a pure Brooklyn ghoul, and I loved it. Number 6, Marty Supreme. Number 5, and these top 5 are like a little bit, just a little bit above the rest. Like, I can definitively say, once you hit top 5, these are 5 forever favorites. The other ones are all like 4.5s. These are all, this is a movie I gave 4.5 as well. I only gave 4 5-stars this year to the top 4. But even though this is 4.5, this could be a 5 at any moment. And it's just a movie I could not get enough of. I saw it in theaters 3 times, including once where I didn't have my AMC A-list, and I just paid out of pocket for a third watch of it because they took it out of the AMC, but I wanted to see it again so bad. And that's Eddington. I know, right? Who saw Eddington 3 times in theaters? This guy and my friend Jack, because I saw it. My third time was his third time. And it was an empty theater, and we were still laughing our asses off because this is actually one of the best dark comedies, point blank, ever. One of the best, like, political satires, point blank, ever. The best political satire and commentary of the modern day. Right there with what's going to be my number 1 movie of the year at Holding Up a Mirror to America. Not even, oh, what makes this movie so brilliant is it's not even giving America a fuck you. It's just holding the mirror up and being like, yeah, you like what you see? That's what makes this movie brilliant to me. That is what made this just take off once it gets going and shit gets real and he goes into that bar and he pulls out that gun and it just can't stop. And once he starts coughing, oh my goodness. I'm sorry, this is my first time wearing a mic and I think I just hit my mic, so I'm sorry if I just peaked the audio. But whenever he starts coughing, I mean, the ball field that Astor's playing on writing this is intergalactic. Once he fucking takes initiative with Pedro Pascal, both at the meeting and while Pedro Pascal's at his house, you know what I mean if you've seen it. This movie just cannot stop hitting you with shit just got real moments. The big third act reveal of who the actual villain is and who he has to fight, I could not stop laughing. I couldn't believe Ari Aster got away with this. And I genuinely think this is one of the defining movies of the 2020s, regardless of if you like it or not. But to quote John Waters, if you don't like this movie, fuck you. Number 4, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. What a great title for a movie. Rose Byrne is probably my favorite actress, right there with Keira Knightley. And to see her get to star in a movie, a dramatic role starring in a movie for the very first time in her entire career is, one, insane to me, and two, that I got to see it at 2 different festivals with her in attendance was incredibly awesome to me as well. She is a tour de force in this movie and easily my favorite performance of the year because it's all her. It only works because of her. You don't even see her kid. This is a brilliant commentary on motherhood and feeling isolated in your own relationships. And she captures that feeling so raw and so authentically that I just am stunned by, honestly, the lack of reception that this movie received because it's come out, it's come and gone. It didn't make any sort of splash at the box office, which is a bummer. But I just hope that it makes a bigger splash in this award season because it is just a brilliant film and a movie that I think is really something that can ring true to a lot of parents and a lot of people in relationships that they might be frustrated with. Watching this movie could be both cathartic and like heartbreaking. But it's a movie worth watching regardless. Number 3, Begonia. Begonia was fucking awesome. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite Yorgos movie since Killing of a Sacred Deer, maybe ever. I haven't liked a Yorgos movie since Killing of a Sacred Deer, and or no, Kinds of Kindness came out. I'm sorry, that was a loud snap. Sorry about the mic. I'm tweaking about the mic. Um, Kinds of Kindness was last year though. I like Kinds of Kindness. I just didn't like Poor Things or The Favorite at all, and those are the more praised Yorgos movies. So I always felt like whenever one of them comes out and people really love it, I'm always at arm's length of it. Um, but this one, for the first time, I thankfully was able to be like, wow, that was one of the best movies of the year. That was hilarious. Jesse Plemons, who was in Kinds of Kindness. And after I saw Kinds of Kindness, I said, that needs to be the Yorgos boy. We know Emma Stone's is the Yorgos girl. We need Jesse Plemons to be the Yorgos boy. He is, and he's wonderful. He's here. He's amazing. And I think that this movie is a riot. And talk about an unfolding onion of a movie that once you get to that ending, I could not believe my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was watching, and I thought it was just riveting and awesome that it had the stones to go where it went. And I think, in my opinion, it works so well because it is an onion. It's not just right in your face over and over again, insane shit. It is a slow burn that reveals everything at the right time and plays its cards so close to the chest and plays them at the right time every single time that I was incredibly impressed by that. Number 2, Sinners. Sinners is a movie I've now seen. Let me check because I'm on Letterboxd right now. I've now seen Sinners 7 times. I've seen Sinners 7 times, 3 times in theaters, 4 times on HBO Max, introducing it to different family members and stuff. That was the funnest movie I showed my mom and my dad this year. They both really loved Sinners. Did not like Weapons at all, but they really loved Sinners, which was nice. Um, I just am a sucker for vampire movies, and I think that this is right there with Fright Night as maybe the best vampire movie ever made. And I thought that whenever I first saw it, I knew that's hyperbole. That is, you're feeling it. You're just feeling how good that movie was. Give it another go. I've given it 7 goes. It is maybe my favorite vampire movie. It is just so well done. No other vampire movies are playing on a level this big. No other vampire movie is actually just a fucking phenomenal movie for the first hour and a half and then becomes a vampire movie. It is a phenomenal movie, first and foremost. That's what makes Sinner special. I think that that is something that we can all understand. What makes Sinner special is that it's a great movie. And I know that's a silly thing to say, but it's because it didn't need to be this good, and it almost shouldn't have been this good, but it is once again filmmakers playing out of their mind on a different plane of existence and doing everything to the right degree, cooking everything to the right level, and just crafting a phenomenal, phenomenal vampire film and just one of the coolest movies of the past several years. It pains me that this is not number 1 because I said, like, Begonia's 3, If I Had Legs to Kick You 4, Eddington 5, these are the upper echelon, but 1 and 2 are right there. They're going right at each other. But One Battle After Another is number 1 because One Battle After Another came to HBO Max and I watched it and immediately was like, oh, this is something I could watch every day for the rest of my life. I kind of knew it would be, but I was worried with its runtime. Seeing it in theaters 3 times, I loved it, but maybe seeing it at home, nah, there's nothing wrong with it at home. It flies by. It was the easiest 9 a.m. watch before graduating college I've ever done. My wife loved it, and she didn't even like it in theater. She fell asleep. She loved it watching it at home. That made it way better for me, and that bumped it to number 1 just because I can quote pretty much every line. And it's a movie I've only seen 4 times now, but I'm watching it and I'm just saying the stuff out loud as it goes because it's so absurd, and the shit that they get Sean Penn and DiCaprio to do. I mean, this is my favorite DiCaprio performance right alongside Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just because, and for the same reason as that one, it's so funny and so layered, even though it could seem like it's not, but it really is. And that's what makes him just such a brilliant artist and such an amazing actor. Every actor in this is amazing, but my MVP is Benicio del Toro. Sensei is just one of one. Absolutely the best. So that's my top 25 movies of the year. Enjoy a few small beers. Tell me yours down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. God bless. See you in 2026.